lalo po sa aming mga bisita. And we're so glad that you're here in our Bible study. Actually, we should have sung the song a while ago, apat kami. But then while we're practicing the song, hindi magkasanto ganun tono na. So sabi, at the last moment, my wife told me, wag ka lang siya sumahan. Well, the title of the message for this evening is entitled, Make Me a Blessing.
Amen.
Make me a blessing. And I think it's a high time for us, I think, bilang Christian, we as Christians, of course we should be also a blessing to all our brothers and sisters in Christ. Amen?
Amen.
Shall I request everybody to please open your Bible, if you have your Bible with you, in Galatians chapter 6, verses 2 until 5. Galatians chapter 6, verses 2 to 5. You can just sit down, it's no problem. Are you there now? Chapter 6, verses 2 until 5. Shall we read this all aloud all together? Are you ready?
Amen.
Okay, let's start from verse 2. Go.
Bear ye one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Christ. For if a man think himself to be something, when he is nothing, he deceiveth himself.
But let every man prove his own work, and there shall be no rejoicing in himself alone, and not in another. For every man shall bear his own burden.
I will repeat verse 2. Bear ye one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Christ. Let's pray. Oh dear God in heaven, we pray, O God, for tonight that you are going to bless each one of us by your words, O God. And I pray also, Lord, that you are going to give wisdom and power, boldness sa iyo, Panginoon. And let this be a night we are blessing to many of us. Lord, we pray also for this place, O God. In the mighty name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
So we are now on this chapter 6 of Galatians. If we are going to read again the verse 2, bear ye one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Christ. If we say burden, what do we mean by burden, by the way? How do we understand the word burden?
Problems.
Burden is something which we bear with difficulty or labor. Yung mapapoibigat sa ating sarili, no? Or that which is grievous, that which is wearisome or oppressive. That's what we mean by burden. And in verse 2, the first two words, bear ye, it comes from the Greek word bastazo, meaning to take up in order to carry or bear, to put upon oneself something to be carried, to bear what is burdensome. That's what we call bear ye. And on the second part of verse 2, and so fulfill the law of Christ. When we say fulfill the law of Christ, what's the law of Christ really? What is the greatest commandment we have?
To love.
To love the Lord thy God,
With all thy heart.
all thy soul, all thy heart, all thy mind. What is the second commandment?
Love the neighbor as thyself.
In
Amen.
Matthew chapter 22, verse 39, it says, and the second is like unto it, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. So we as Christians, we as believers of Christ, we should bear ye one another's burdens, and we are going to fulfill the law of Christ. Amen?
Amen.
To be a blessing to everyone, as a Christian believer, we need to have these three prayer points. I will give you three only, 3 points, prayer points to consider on treating or dealing with the people around us, especially the household of faith. So we as Christians should pray, and we admonish each one of us to include this as our personal prayer, that we should be a blessing to everyone, most especially to our household of faith. So I give you 3 prayer points. Number 1, Lord, make me helpful. That's in verse 2. Lord, make me helpful. We Christians should always strive, or we should always have an attitude of service to each and everyone. Yun po ang talagang isang attitude ng isang Kristiyano. That should be the attitude of a believer in Christ. That we should be helpful to each and everyone. If we see a friend or a brother or sister who is in need, dapat matulungan tayo, di ba? If a brother is carrying a burden, siguro we can see naman in their self, I think, sa kanyang aura niya mangyari, na talagang he's carrying really a burden on himself or herself. So you should approach a brother or sister and then asking how can we help, diba? So as a Christian, we should go an extra mile in helping or carrying the burden of others, especially of common faith. I think if you could still remember the message of Brother Vice before, in Matthew 5:41, if you could still remember this one, it's still fresh in my mind. And whoever shall compel thee to go a mile, go with him twain. Diba? Yan ba niyo yun? Si Brother Vice. Because during the day of Jesus, the law of the land gave a Roman soldier the right to force anyone in the empire to carry his gear for 1 mile. Yun ang dating law noon, di ba? Na if you're going to carry something in 1 mile, you would help them also. And the Jews really hated this practice. To this day, we've been using this expression, going the extra mile, for someone willing to carry or bear the burden of others beyond the expected norm. Hindi lang po yung sabing, Brad, okay ka ba? Hindi dapat gano'n eh. No, we should not do that. No? Really, we should really have that feeling na yung puso ng isang Kristiyano sympathize with the burden our brother or sister is carrying. So to be helpful, how do we undertake this, or how should we do this to be helpful? Letter A, we should do this in love. Dapat. We should do this in love. Dapat may pagmamahal dapat. Hindi lang porke natulungan mo siya, dapat we should show a feeling of love sa ating kapatiran.
Man.
Let us help our brethren in need with love. Not for publicity's sake, kasi nga dahil nakakita sa atin. That's the reason why we help our brother or sister. That should not be the point, no? Just to show off to our friend na because we help our brother or sister, hindi po ganun dapat. Or not just for the sake of helping them because he or she is in dire misery or pain. Kasi nakitang talagang easily in pain, hindi po dapat gano'n. Because we help our brother or sister because they need it with love. Dapat we may pagmamahal dapat. So if I'm going to ask you, in what specific ways can we show them that we help them by showing our love to them? Anong paraan? What do you think? Yes, one, yeah, that's good. By prayer. We can show them by prayer. That's right. By praying for them. Telling them that Christ is really there for us and He answers all our prayers. Or you can maybe you can share them the verses in the Bible, like for example James 5:16. Confess your faults to one another and pray one for another that ye may be healed. Because the effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man. There are a lot of Bible verses that we could share to our brother or sister when they are in need, or when they are in misery, where they are in trouble, or when they are in the hardships. So we can pray for them, to show them that we love and care for them. Amen? Dapat ganun. What else? By hearing their plights or problems. Simple lang po. If you could just sit down and then hear what their plights, yung kanyang problema sa buhay, it's okay for them. Diba? The feeling of putting out themselves to you, to lighten their spirit, that's a great help for them already. Diba? Sometimes by just giving them a time to sit with them and hear their problems, their burdens, their difficulties, their hardships, their afflictions in life, this would lighten the spirit. Diba? Just giving them time to pour their burdens in life. Okay naman po sa kanila. I could sense like usually if I see a sister or a brother having a problem, I just talk to them and then do my assist. It's a matter of trying to lose their burdens in life. Ano po pag may problema tayo, diba? Minsan, you just want to seek a friend and then just talk to them, just to lighten our spirit. But then try to be very careful with this, because sometimes if your brother or sister is trying to pour everything to you, don't make this as a what you call it, a thing which later on nangyayari is nagiging gossip na sa iba. Pag ikaw ang sabihan, if someone talks to you, don't let others know it. No? It's you should be very aware of this one. If someone tries to tell you of a confidential thing, then you should keep it within yourselves. So try to be very careful with this one. Yes.
Another expressing love
Yes.
is to let him know or her after confessing, don't forget, I'm here.
It's a very good
Assure
word.
him.
Yeah. That's a
I
very
am
good
here.
word. Yeah, yes.
Not only hearing, assure him.
Yes.
Let me know if you have, I know. With the prayer, let me know I am ready to. And that way, you will be assured
Yes.
that is surrounded by love.
It's a very good word. Yeah, yes. For them. Malaking bagay rin sa kanila if you could feel. What else? Anyway, what else? What else could you add to this? Anyone? Showing our love to a brother or sister having a problem, just to help them show our love to them. Anything? Well, we could also share them the Word of God. Amen? By sharing the Word of God to them, then that would be a very great thing for them. Like for example, if you're going to share Matthew chapter 11, verses 28 to 30, a very well-known verse, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." Wow, it's a very great word from the Word of God. We could have several examples in the Bible how someone helps another one. Like for example, in the story of Job, I think a very well-known story in the Bible. And I think you know very well that Job was afflicted by boils in his body. Daming nakasakit siya, daming boils, di ba? So he was very affected sa buhay niya. Maraming mga boils sa kanyang buong katawan. So if you could just sense the feeling of Job that time. Talagang grabe yung kanyang dinaanan. And I think we could learn so much from the life of Job and his friends nung pumunta sa kanya. Diba? Who are his friends? Si Eliphaz, si Bildad, and Zophar. It's in Job chapter 2, verses 12 to 13. If you could open your Bible. In verse 12, the friends of Job went to his place to sympathize with Job. In verse 12, and when they lifted up their eyes afar off, and knew not, they lifted up their voice and wept. Umiyak sila. And they rent every one his mantle, and sprinkled dust upon their heads toward heaven. So they sat down with him upon the ground 7 days and 7 nights. Okay, no? 7 days and 7 nights. Just to comfort Job that time, because of his affliction. And none spake a word unto him, for they saw that his grief was very great. Imagine just sitting down 7 days and 7 nights without speaking to your friend. It's already a great comfort for a friend. Diba? Much can learn from the example of life of Job and his friends. When we are aware of a friend who is hurting, we can follow the positive example of this man by going to the person and spending time together. Kasi minsan tayo if we know of a friend or a brother or sister na may problema, minsan we just don't mind her, or we just don't mind him, because we think that if you're going to carry the burden, it will revert back to yourself. Kapag anong maging problema sa sarili mo, di ba? So just to take out those burdens, hayaan mo siya na mag-carry ng burden niya. This will not be the case, no? We should be helpful to them. Our physical presence with a hurting friend, take note, our physical presence with a hurting friend can be great comfort in and of itself, even if we have no words to say. Diba? Like the case of John. I know how really dreadful is yung sinapit ni Charm for the court case. I know it's very hard for her to carry those for several days, weeks, months, until such time that there will be a judgment day. Diba? Ang bigat mo na eh. Parang napaka-bigat. In addition, we can also gain wisdom from what Job's friends did wrong. We should not assume that troubles are the sure sign of God's judgment. Take note of that. Take note of that. We should not assume that troubles are the sure sign of God's judgment. Instead of telling a hurting person, to admit his wrong and repent, when we do not know the reason for the suffering, we can join together and encourage a friend to endure faithfully, knowing that God sees our pain and has a purpose for it. When we turn our focus to God, we can offer great encouragement and hope to those in need, helping those who suffer to see God at work. When we are willing to enter into the pain of a suffering friend, we follow the example of Jesus, who came to bear our pain and suffer in our place. Our help to those in need is ultimately In Matthew chapter 25, verse 40, and the king shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these brethren, ye have done it unto me. Just always remember Jesus Christ when He suffered on the cross for us to bear our sins. Diba? We have several verses in the Bible to show this. In John 13:34, a new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another as I have loved you, that ye also love one another. Truly, a Christian believer, makita mo sa kanya na he is a matured believer if you can see one of these fruits sa buhay niya. Diba? If you can see one of these fruits in his life, Galatians 5:16, love. Also in John 15:12, this is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you. Also in 1 John 3:18, my little children, let us not love in word, neither in tongue. Di lang po sa salita lang po, but in deed and in truth. Brothers and sisters, I think we should be very aware of ourselves as a Christian. We should not be a Christian by words only or by tongue, but we should be also a Christian in deed and truth. So the first one, our prayer should be, Lord, make me helpful. Lord, make me helpful. Make me helpful to everyone. Make me helpful to my brothers and sisters in Christ. The second one, how can we show this also? First one is in love. Next is in labor. In labor. In love. Next, in labor. Some Christians, when they knew that their brother is burdened, in misery or in trouble, they would just say, come brother, let's pray to God. So God will intercede in our prayers and He will give help. Well, this should be a good attitude of a Christian, diba? But then, our help should not stop there. If we could see that our brother is in need, let us extend our assistance to them. If we know that our friend has been laid off in their work, of course, they need some finances for their foods. So we should help them also with some amount. Hindi lang pwedeng prayer lang po. Hindi pwede po. Should extend them. Like in the case of most of our brothers, especially the African brothers, there are so many cases where they were laid off, or they were terminated in their work, trabaho na, and then others have been at a case with the court, and they had to wait for the case for several days or months. So we should extend our help to them. Di lang po prayer, extend them in their finances, maybe, or in other ways. If we see he or she needs some help on finances, extend assistance to them. And let us be very patient with these people because they are in anguish, in pain, they're in despair. Or maybe they have a heartache. Ano pa yung mga ibang nasawi, di ba? So kung nasawi ka, talagang sakit ang puso mo nun eh. So let's be patient with those brothers na nasawi sa pag-ibig. In 1 Thessalonians 5:14, now we exhort you, brethren, warn them that are unruly, comfort the feeble-minded, support the weak, Be patient toward all men. Let us be patient. Let us be patient to all men. That's one of the fruit of the Spirit, am I right? That's one of the fruit of patience. True love always labor despite difficult trials and burdens. In light of the context of verse 1, in our reading, in light of the context of verse 1, in restoring the fallen brother, it would be logical in the context that the burden bearing is specifically referencing the realm of others' spiritual burdens and needs. This burden bearing can carry over into physical needs as well. Diba ganun, diba? Dapat we should extend our burden bearing to them by extending and over their physical needs also. Not only their spiritual needs, but also the physical needs as well. That's one. So we should consider in our prayer. One point, Lord, make me helpful. Second one, we should consider also in our prayer point, Lord, make me humble. That's in verse 3. For if a man think himself to be something when he is nothing, he deceiveth himself. It's in verse 3. Lord, make me humble. One of the dangers of bearing burdens is a know-it-all attitude. Sometimes when we talk to a friend or a brethren who has a burden, who's burdened, sometimes we feel that, we know that already, brother. Alam namin na yan. And ito dapat mangyari dapat. Ito dapat. Kasi naandaan ko na yun kasi. So ito dapat yung mangyari. No? Sometimes, when we are restoring and burden-bearing a brother, we can begin to think too highly of ourselves already. Diyan ang lumalabas yung pride. Diba? Diyan ang lumalabas yung pride. So in our prayer, letter A, beware of false pride. Beware of false pride. False pride describes people who brag or boast about their accomplishments. Ito yung mga taong they're bragging about, I'm already an architect, I'm already an engineer, so they're bragging about their accomplishments. Or make a bigger deal out of themselves than the situation warrants. One aspect of false pride is arrogance. Take note of that. One aspect of false pride is arrogance. This is when you pretend that you are better than others in ways that cannot be measured by skill. These are Christians who have not fully matured in their growth because the spirit of pride and arrogance is still there in themselves. Diyan pa rin yung spirit of arrogance and pride in themselves. So when we help a brother or sister, we should be careful of this one, false pride. Instead of helping them, lalo pang nagiging masama ang ating panahon nila sa atin. Lalo pang nasira pa yung kanyang situation. Letter B. Letter A, beware of false pride. Letter B, beware of self-deception. Beware of self-deception. In Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23, keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. If you have a proud attitude, you will eventually say something or do something that will show you pride. Amen? Tama ba yun?
Amen.
If you have a proud attitude, you will eventually say something or do something to show your pride. Subconsciously, as they would say. Subconsciously, as they would say. Actually, one time, we counseled with a friend of ours, my wife, with a friend of ours. I think she remember this. Palagi siya nag-away ng kanyang girlfriend. And my wife is a counselor also. An acquaintance of ours is telling, oh, Brad, because subconsciously I am telling this to my girlfriend. Yes. Subconsciously, he was telling this, he was speaking this to his girlfriend. The matter is, subconsciously, kasi may pride talaga sa kanya. Yung pagkamayabang niya, it's a problem. So we told him, Brad, I think better na tanggalin na yung attitude of pagkamayabang. Because what he likes is, dapat yung girlfriend niya na nagbago. Dapat nagbago dapat siya yung kanyang mga... Dapat, he's pointing that, he's insisting that his girlfriend should transform herself in the way she talks, in the way she acts. Sabi namin, but ikaw, I think you should also change also. Dapat both of you should change.
Yeah.
So, we should take out this attitude of pride and arrogance in ourselves. Hindi maganda po bilang Kristiyano. Yes.
You're saying that when we are replacing, it should be that someone can reach us. For example, a tree bear fruits, his branches fall down. But some of us, when we become habit already, our hands goes up that nobody can reach. But I mean, we must be ready to carry, at reachable. Because some Christians cannot be avoided. They are promoted and they have some.
Yes.
They are payable parents.
Yung naabot na.
Yeah. But you should be think that when fruit-bearing trees bear more fruits,
It leaves fall down.
Everybody
Because of the fruits.
can reach the place.
Yeah. Because of the heaviness of the fruits.
Yes.
Yeah, bumaba dapat yun.
In like manner, we as Christians, when we are now have so many fruits, or some small fruits, at least somebody can reach us in order for him to taste our blessing, that he will be influenced by us in coming back to the Lord.
It's a very good insight.
Because make me Lord a blessing.
Yes.
So how can you say make me Lord a blessing when you are hands up and when you are away from the others who don't have? You are only good in prayer. And the Lord said, after you pray, act, do something.
Yes. It's a very good insight from Brother Robert. Very good. And one of the illustrations of humbleness, we could relate this in the life of David. I'm really so admire the life of David really. Yung humility sa kanya, di ba? The life of David. If you could recount the story of David, when King Saul has a great burden, si King Saul noon, has a great burden, fear. What's his burden? Fear. Great fear. Sino ang kanyang nakatakutan? Yung mga Philistines. Especially yung si Goliath, ang threat ni Goliath. In 1 Samuel 17:11, when Saul and all Israel heard those words of the Philistines, they were dismayed and greatly afraid. Yun ang burden ni King Saul. And when Saul knew David, and he let David fight Goliath, and after those actions, the king looked for David in 1 Samuel 17:58. And Saul said to him, "Whose son art thou, thou young man?" And David answered, anong sabi ni David? Walang kayabangan kung sabi niya. Ako ang pumatay kay Goliath or whatever. A very simple answer. I am the son of thy servant, Jesse. Yun ang sabi niya. I am the son of thy servant, Jesse. Walang kayabangan po. Pangakit mo yung the greatness of David because he slew one of the great giant of Philistine. Which kung sa siguro kung if you're going to apply that to other people, I think they would be bragging about themselves. Oh, I killed that one. I killed that man because I am so powerful. But hindi ko ano. David, with what he has done, did not or has not displayed an attitude of arrogance or being boastful of the victory. Because he knows that everything has been accomplished was done because of his complete trust in the Lord God. Diba? Folks, we are all just sinners saved by grace.
Amen.
Our service is not indispensable. Our tithes and talents are not indispensable. All our service should be done as we are doing this for the Lord.
Amen.
Amen. The spiritual man does not think he is something or that he is nothing. He simply does not compare. Hindi pa ating compare sa iba yung ating nagawa. Okay, we have two. Last, Lord, make me helpful. Second, Lord, make me humble. And the last point in our prayer should be, Lord, make me honorable. In verses 4 to 5. Lord, make me honorable. In verse 4, but let every man prove his own work, and then shall he have rejoicing in himself alone, and not in another. For every man shall bear his own burden. Letter A, as I prove my work. In verse 4. As I prove my work. The word prove in Greek is dokimazo, meaning to test, to examine, to prove, to scrutinize. To see whether a thing is genuine or not. To recognize as genuine after examination. To approve, deem worthy. The metaphor of Apostle Paul gives here is the obligation Jesus Christ lays upon His followers to examine their own works, whether they are genuine and worthy. Because every believer will bear the load of work he has done for Christ. Amen? In 2 Corinthians chapter 13, 5a, 2 Corinthians chapter 13, 5a, examine yourselves whether ye be in faith, prove your own selves. In Romans chapter 14:10, but why dost thou judge thy brother? Or why dost thou set at naught thy brother? For we shall all stand before the judgment seat of Christ. And in James 4:15 to 17, for that ye ought to say, if the Lord will, we shall live and do this or that. But now ye rejoice in your boastings. All such rejoicing is evil. Therefore to him that knoweth do good, and doeth it not, to him it is sin. So let us make ourselves honorable to God as we prove our work. Second, as we bear our burdens, as I bear my burdens. That is in verse 1. Some may question us why verse 2 tells us to bear one another's burdens, while verse 5 commands us to bear our own burdens. Why in verse 2 it's telling us to bear another's burdens, while in verse 5 it speaks on bearing our own burdens? The answer is very plain and simple. Verse 2 is speaking of our service as a Christian to our brothers and sisters. In verse 2 again, it's speaking of our service to our brothers and sisters. While verse 5 is speaking about personal responsibility as a Christian. Note that we are commanded to assume personal responsibility for our actions and words. We should be very responsible with our actions and words. We should. In 2 Thessalonians 3, 10 to 11, for even when we were with you, this we commanded you, neither should ye eat. For we hear that there are some which walk among you disorderly, working not at all, but are busybodies. And in 2 Thessalonians 3, 12 to 13, now them that are such we command and exhort by our Lord Jesus Christ, that with quietness they work, and eat their own bread, but ye, brethren, be not weary in well doing. You should not be weary in doing good to other people.
Amen.
A spiritual Christian is willing to be helpful. Amen?
Amen.
To be humble, to be honorable in bearing others' burdens. But take note, he should also be prepared to stand alone. I repeat this again, but he should also be prepared to stand alone in carrying his responsibilities. In Galatians chapter 6, verse 10, as we have therefore opportunity, let us do good unto all men. Let us do good unto all men, especially unto them who are of the household of faith. Let us exert effort to be helpful to our brothers and sisters. Let us exert to be humble. Let us exert to be honorable to each and everyone. In conclusion, one way to detect your spiritual growth, one way to detect your spiritual growth is by the way you handle burdens. Take note of that. Do you see the burden of others? Nakita mo ba? I think you can see most of our brothers and sisters, they have burdens in life. We need to help in carrying them. We need to help in carrying those burdens. Do you have burdens of your own? Let us take them to the Lord in prayer. I will leave this last verse in 1 Peter 5:7. Can you open the Bible? 1 Peter 5:7. Casting all your care upon Him, for He careth for you.
Amen.
Pray.
Coming to Lord, make me an honor. Honest Christian, if I share my blessing, it should cost me something from us, so that it is an honorable blessing to others. Because if I only get it from somebody, I announce that we have to help somebody, and give to somebody without announcing it comes from somebody, it's not honorable.
Yes.
David said, Lord, I will give you something that cost me something. So be reminded that if we give blessing to somebody, it's cost you. So to make it honorable, it's give with humble and with love. And if you really, the burden coming from you, you share it to him, so that he may know that, oh, thank you very much. What a blessing.
I would like to get some insights from you there. Ano bang mga insights nyo regarding this? Make me a blessing. Anything you can share? Some few words, I think. Yeah, brother, yes.
First of all, I would like to thank God that the works of the Lord is alive
Amen.
in the midst of beauties and worldly pleasures, but through serving God and studying His Word. So, it's very important of this Bible study today, especially in the book of Galatians, if I may share,
Oh, yes.
because this book of Galatians is very strong to those, to us who know our Lord Jesus Christ, who worship Him in spirit and truth. God, through Apostle Paul, said in Galatians chapter 3, who furnished Baptist of Galatian pala. So, we sometimes, and we pray that no one of us, if it will happen, we become foolish. Worshiping the Lord in Spirit, and we go to return back to worshiping idols and graven images, worshiping that Jesus Christ, our Lord, is not God. So it's foolishness. So in this topic tonight that we studied, brethren, so these are our brothers, sisters in faith. So it could be turned to backsliding. That's why the word here used is brethren, and a man be overtaken, not a fool. So it could be in the state of backsliding, we have backsliding. So let's restore them in faith. So by helping everything, comforting, be humble, we cannot be self-righteous, because it can happen to us also.
Yes, that's right.
So that's the beauty and by the grace of God we are studying. So let's continue studying His Word. And God's glory and honor. And in well-doing, and because God is in us, we are always victorious and victorious.
Amen. The point here is we should extend a blessing to others. Why? If we give one blessing, it will pour back to us greater blessings from our God. Diba? Kung nagbigay ka ng isa, I'm sure God will bless you more for the blessings you gave. Like for example, if you extend some finances to your friend, I'm sure God will bless you more for that. Anyone? Any insights before we ask?
When we say, Lord, make me a blessing, because of your desire that you be blessing, God will give you more blessings so that you can serve somebody else.
Yes.
You can, because if you make mistake of your prayer, God will never give you, because you'll come on. Because Lord, make me a blessing. Say, okay, here is some. Give you to them, just so that you'll be blessed. It should be with love, with humbleness, and with honor, so that God will be glorified.
Any more? Any more insights from the audience? Any more? So that's it, no?
Amen.
So again, let's be a blessing to everyone, because we know God has promised us, if we give blessings, God will pour back greater blessings to ourselves. Amen? Let's pray. Holy God in heaven, we thank you, Lord, again for this